welcome. Where am I at? Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can't see you.
Oh yeah, gosh darn it. Let me see if I can fix that real fast.
There we are.
Okay.
All right.
There you go.
My face got a little. All right. All right. There we go.
Yeah.
Hi, welcome. This is Tavern Talk, After Hours edition, where we all just watched episode 5 of season 3 of The Wheel of Time. Guys, how you doing?
Great.
Good. Excellent.
It's late for some people and really early for some.
Oh, yeah.
It is late for me.
It's
Go ahead.
I'm not sure what it is for me, but yeah, I'm really happy with what I just saw. And I do have a couple of disappointments today.
Oh, okay. Well, let's. It is called Teleranriad. It was the 5th episode of the 3rd season. It was directed by Marta Cunningham.
Yes.
And written by. I'm not even going to. I'll try Ajay Ibrianke.
It was a very, very worthy attempt.
Jansen, is your are you using the same mic that you were last time?
I am not, so
Okay.
I'll get closer.
Okay. So yeah, go ahead, Jansen. What were you saying?
Yeah, I am. It was Teleranriad. Teleranriad is one of the strongest forces in all of the books. It pretty much has something to do with almost everything in the entire Wheel of Time. And it manifests itself in so many different ways in the books. And one of those ways that I really, really liked, not just one, but I liked a lot of them, but I really liked how they incorporated Perrin and the wolves in Teleranriad in the books. We saw pretty much none of that in this episode. So that makes me believe that it's possible that we may see a tribute to the wolf dream later. Or maybe they might not even have that right now. We don't know. That may be a power that Perrin manifests later. We don't know right now. But this episode, it did give me some things that the book did not, which I really actually liked. In the books, the White Cloaks, we hear about the Questioner's brutality. We hear about all of the things how scared they make people. Well, we saw it in this one.
Yeah, we saw actually quite a few things. We got to see an IO City. We saw Cold Rock's Hold. Cold Rock's Hold, we finally saw that there was a lot of Aiel around.
Yeah.
They were kind of in the crevice of the earth. And they lived in structures. They didn't live in tents.
Yeah. I loved it.
It was a little interesting. I mean, isn't the IEO way like not to live in a structure?
Well, I think that they get away with that by calling it a hold.
Yeah, I guess. And we meet Ruark's second wife, Leanne.
Leanne, yes, we do.
We see that this isn't just a matriarchal thing with him having 2 wives. They're all into each other. The ladies kiss as well.
Yeah.
Solves some riddles, I guess, that we have about their culture. It's just full polyamory.
Yeah, they are giving us some answers to questions we've had without giving us the answers to the questions we've had.
It definitely opens the door with, I think, a lot of people who were a little bit, what's the right diplomatic word? They were kind of shook that Elaine and Avienda were going for it. And I think this sort of explains a little bit more about Avienda's insights into these types of relationships and stuff.
And it also, as a result, also leaves that door open for Rand. The cold open was interesting. It starts off with Moraine hanging out with the Sakarnan.
Yeah.
And the Sakarnan is awesome. It's beautiful. It's making all these cool vibes, but then it gets a little alive on her. Lan has to show up and kind of stop her. And he feels, she's like, what'd you feel? He's like, euphoria and like a hunger or a thirst. And he's like, so what happened in those rings? And she's like, don't get me started. Trauma.
The rings.
Yeah.
We also get a little bit more information about Elida and Swan's contentious relationship. She walks into her room and just immediately starts talking shit.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
this place used to be cool until you turn it into a dang fish market.
She called her trash.
Yeah.
River trash.
River trash. I was like,
She also said your net is coming apart.
I also, just to tap back real quick, when Moraine was using Sakanen, you could see the, kind of like in the first season when Leandrin was burning herself out a little bit, you could see that happening on Moraine's like forearms, and a little bit like on her face and stuff. So she's really pulling in more of the power than she's accustomed to, and enough to do damage to her.
Are we getting a One Ring kind of vibe with her just like obsessing with this thing, sitting all alone, being almost my precious?
I don't know. I think she is. Yeah, that is interesting that she is holding on to it. We saw something like this in the books, but not with her, with Rand. Where and a little bit also with Egwene towards the end, with Vora Sangreal. But this is there's a lot more mystery behind this specific Sangreal, and I believe that there's also going to be some behind Kalendor. I think it may be where they're going. I'm going to save this actually because I think I got something.
I do think that. I think it's more of a fascination. I think it gives her access to enormous amounts of the one power, and you could kind of see that when she was holding it, and she's just sort of in this state of like elation. And she's just like, oh, and then it goes crazy. But in that moment beforehand, you can kind of see her. I wouldn't necessarily say the One Ring kind of fascination, but she's never held that much of the one power before. So it's something for her.
That was a really cool scene. I thought she was doing like early morning yoga at first, just like greeting the dawn with stretches. But no, she was working with that thing. I'm excited to see and I do like the name, the Choden Ball. Is that the Choden Call? The Choden Ball. I like to see what the Choden Ball and Kalendor, that combination is going to be, because this is where it's all leading up to, right? These are the ways. But yeah, we got more Elida. I liked Elida.
Yeah, we got the Sea Folk.
You got the Sea Folk. You're right.
And you know what I really liked about the Sea Folk? I liked how they are showing, that different cultures have different weaves, but they're using the motion as a visual to show how different it is. And I thought that the way that they had choreographed the Windfinder was exquisite.
Oh, so beautiful.
I thought it looked amazing.
Yeah. I thought it was really so neat. I'm sorry. I just thought it was so neat because up to that point, we've only seen sort of specific weaves, doing this thing and doing that thing or whatever. And this was more of a flow in a. I mean, definitely a dance that she was doing physically, exactly. but the flow of the power was also like waves in a dance.
Yeah, and we got an explanation at the same time
Hmm.
from the other sea folk, and I thought it was great. It was done very, very well.
Yeah.
And the time constraints that they have, they're putting an incredible amount of information um, in each, in each scene.
Yeah.
And they're fitting a lot in. It's nice the way they're doing it. I like how they got all the way to Tenchico,
Hmm.
and they're there
Yeah.
quickly, and they said it took 2 weeks, so they know how. I mean, we're getting a little bit of a timeline, and we also got, again, as far as the timeline, we know that now this journey has been going on for a couple of years now.
Hmm.
Moraine said that to Egwene, that she warned her about her dreams a few years ago.
Hmm.
So we know that even though it might not have seemed that way to everyone because of the fast pace of everything, we know that this journey has already gone on for 2 years.
Yeah. She said I warned you years ago. So either that was just wrong, or we got an update on the timeline, and it's been years.
Yeah. And if you consider all the things that have happened, the journeys they have had to travel on their own feet in some cases, that makes them good. It can make sense. You can
Hmm.
stretch that. I can see that.
Yeah. I also like I like the way that they're giving a little bit of wisdom outside the one tower. So you're finding these people like the sea folk, how she was talking to Nynaeve and Elaine, and just like reading them, going like, okay, one of you is this, one of you is this way, and it relates to how we see the ocean and how we see the waves and how we see the things, and that's how we, get to know people's personalities and stuff. And then in the wise ones, they're doing the same thing within the Aiel culture. So I really like these little touches of wisdom and touches of the things that Egwene is gathering from the Aiel and the things that Nynaeve and Elaine kind of gathered from the Sea Folk. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, because they were disabused of the notion. The tower had always just said, "Oh yeah, the sea folk, their channelers are shit. They're not
Hmm.
good enough to be sisters, so they just don't even send them anymore because
Hmm.
they're not strong enough." Which was clearly not the case. She was making an aurora borealis of weaves.
Yeah, these weaves were going and I mean surrounding the entire ship. It was like a massive. It was beautiful.
It was energetic. It was graceful, and actually, for one of the first times, like the movements made sense
Hmm.
here for me.
Yeah.
But we did have the boat scene, so where Nynaeve is cranky and throwing up on a boat, guys. We got it.
I loved it. I
Yeah,
loved it.
I'm telling you, yeah, we're about to see some really funny stuff
Yeah.
from Nynaeve over the next couple of episodes. I think she's going to be very emotional, highs and lows, and I think we're going to see her trigger come very soon, which is her anger.
Yeah.
Now, they're going to have to do it in small steps. You can't be that. She's not the Hulk. You know?
And she hasn't seemed like an angry character so far.
Yeah, she doesn't. And I think that's good because they're going to need that for the build up when she does get angry.
Hmm.
They need those contrasts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So when she is angry, you're going to know. You're going to know. And you're going to be able to be like, oh, wow, she's mad now. You're going to be able to know.
They have an interesting conversation. I guess the ship mistress and Nynaeve about. She's like, yeah, of course you can't channel. I already know that because you are stubborn and you don't go with the flow. That's why you barfing while Elaine over here, perfect Elaine, isn't barfed once. She's like, you're really into control, aren't you? And Elaine like laughs.
Starts
She's all
laughing.
ha ha. So,
Understatement of the century.
so I'm not sure if her anger is going to be the trigger. I think it's her. She's going to just learn to let go, because she hasn't been angry at all. Like she hasn't. She's been kind of cool with Matt and stuff. There hasn't been any.
You know what? I think out of all the relationships in the show, the Nynaeve and Elaine relationship is the most like the one in the books.
Yeah.
It is almost exactly like the one in the books. I get that. I like it. I like the way that they've crafted their chemistry together is great. So Sarah and Zoe, I guess that's their name. Yeah, it's great. So I love that relationship that they have. It's just like the books.
Yeah, I like that. I like that they brought Min into like everybody's kind of conscious circle. Like all of a sudden they're like, "Oh, Min's on the boat," and then you get to kind of see the, Nynaeve is like, "Wait a minute, I know you," and
Yeah.
Elaine is like, "I know you." So they brought her, kind of connected all these four people together.
Yeah, and Matt's like, "Are you that into me? Are you like some obsessed stalker?"
Why are you so obsessed?
Yeah, why are you copying me?
I still gotta believe and hope they're gonna stumble into Tom in one of these taverns. I hope.
They've got to. We saw him in one of the Next on the Wheel of Time type things. So
Oh, I didn't see that.
just briefly, someone caught it. I didn't even catch it, but it was like I think Elaine and Tom were like surprised and ran, and it was just like that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that if and when it does happen, Elaine will be the one to recognize him.
Yeah,
and say, "Tom."
I said this a year
Hey,
ago.
Tom.
I said this a year ago. I think she's gonna walk up to him and slap him in the face.
That would be rad. That would be rad. Let's see. What else did we see? Okay. So we had all right. So the Cothans. The Cothans are in a cage, like a literal cage.
Yeah.
Like cramped like dogs. Dane tries to be cool. Dane's like, "Hey kids, want some water? Water, you can't live without water. Here, have some water." They try to steal his keys, and he's like, "Why the fuck did you do that?" He gets mad. Someone channels. Natty's like, "It was me. It was me." He's like, "Well, you're a dirty witch." All right, fine. Valda, question her.
Ugh.
We see what the questioning turns out to, right? She was like burnt alive, was she?
Yeah.
Or was
Yeah.
He likes burning witches.
He certainly does.
So we know that Bodrin at least can channel, or both of them can.
I thought it was Bode.
Well, they're twins.
I think they are twins. It looks like it.
They
So
are.
so maybe both of them, but definitely Bode should be able to channel.
Yeah, I think they're twins. But yeah, no, and I think Natty knew that, and she said it was me. It was me. But yeah, I think that, and we got a reason, at least from Ilana, of why she's there. Now, I will argue and say that the Ilana of the show is doing what a Green Aes Sedai should have been doing in the books a long time. Like her logic, every single thing she said was something that a Green should have come up with in the books. So I like that choice. I really like that choice. If it's true, if it's true, because it might not be true. But I do like the choice. And I like, how they used her relationship with her warder and Moraine's relationship with her warder to show the intimacy that the warders have with their Aes Sedai. That, they say this, I believe they say this 2 or 3 times in the books where they compare they really compare the water bond to marriage.
Mm-hmm.
And they compare it, they even say that it's stronger than marriage. They say that it's a bond that even husbands and wives don't share. And they're showing how close these units, these little units are from the White Tower, and how, and oh, I almost forgot, and this is because this was very close and very quick. We got Alvarin Sedai.
Yes.
Right.
And the little interaction with her and Alida, I thought was, I mean, beautiful. I was just like, oh no, the wheels are turning.
Now, we didn't say this because I know it's early in the morning and this is a late night show, but if anybody's watching, we want everyone to know that this is a spoiler filled show.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so we can now, since I said that, we can speculate. We know at least there are 3 women in the books that are in the tower in the show that are black.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or is that 3 or 2? No, 2.
Mm-hmm.
2. We know Galena, and we know that Alvarin are in the tower still.
Right.
And Varen.
Well, and Varen. Yes, that's right. And Varen.
Yeah.
That's the 3rd. Yes. So we have 3 possible black Aja and I think, you know what? I think that Rafe is being pretty close. I think that it's very possible that they all are black.
Yeah.
And so we still have all that. And yeah, it's there's some things that we got that we have not got. Like Natty Cawthon dying was a little hard for. I was like, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now she's not needed.
Mm-hmm.
But she does have her uses in dying.
Mm-hmm.
One, now Perrin doesn't have to go through a trial.
Mm-hmm.
This is an eye for an eye mentality here, at least. Perrin's going to say, fuck you and your trial. This is what's happened now,
You've killed 2 Rivers folks. So.
And Dane Bornhold has pretty much admitted to letting it happen.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's one thing that her death has, given the show and given the viewers. Also, they may use this, they may not. It also gives them a way to make Abel Cawthon have a story arc, a redemption story arc, to help his girls.
Yeah, I do like how the last couple of interactions that we've had with Natty have been a little bit noble in the sense that she is protecting her daughters. She is putting herself in between them and danger. So even though we may have had a negative view on her and how she's being played, you do get to see that kind of internal protection as a mother and saying like, no, these white cloaks are not going to harm my daughters. And when somebody channeled, she knew it was one of her daughters and she threw herself out there immediately. Yeah. It was like, it was me.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that they sort of touched on that towards the end in Matt's dream. I thought that was just really beautiful. So,
well, how sad is that? Is that is what Matt dreams about? Is instead of his mom saying "you're a prick just like him," that she's all proud of him and he's visiting and showing off a sword that Perrin made.
She looked gorgeous in that dream.
She looked great.
Gorgeous.
That was awesome. I love how they're doing that very well.
Yeah.
I'm really, really, really hoping though that the next episode is titled TAVERN. For so many reasons.
Wasn't it you that said they haven't really said that word in a while?
They have not.
No.
But the other thing is, what we haven't seen. We haven't seen any manifestations of luck, of wolves, of any of those things. And I would really, really like to. And I suspect that they're not doing that because of 5 TAVERN and not 3.
We did see a bunch of wolf heads on stakes at the White Cloak camp.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying. They're making it so Perrin's not going to have to ever go to trial.
Yeah.
What has been wrought has been wrought, And in fact, I think that is actually the name of a chapter in the books for what has been wrought. Yeah, when Rand comes back to his dad. That's right.
I loved Fail in a fight scene.
Ooh,
Right.
That was great.
Whoever choreographs these fight scenes is seriously getting some acrobatic cats in there.
Yeah.
They are just flipping each and every way you can, like stuff I like. It hurts my back.
yeah, really good stunt people.
That was great. And it's they've done this thing a couple of times where you think that the person is down and then they do a maneuver and the fight continues. And I just thought that was so well done with her. When she kicked the white cloth off and then jumped in and did her Simone Biles stuff.
So what I want to know is Dane Barnhold dead?
I don't think so. I think he got stabbed in the shoulder, kind of like not in the heart, but like in the shoulder. So he's down and out. Gives him a chance to get away, I think.
She did the old Tom Maryland, throw the dagger from across the room.
She sure did.
My second best dagger.
I liked that little scene. It was just a little quick thing where she flipped the knife, and then Perrin grabbed her and she flipped another one, and then Bane and Chiad were like, "Yeah, she's coming with us."
Yes. We want her on our team.
Started that relationship too. That's going to be a cool interaction. With those three.
He ends up dreaming of Fail as his wife.
And Hopper.
And Hopper just doing the same old Hopper, just jumping. He's jumping around.
Trying to get the embers.
Right.
He's like, Hopper, quit it.
What was Perrin making? Was it an axe?
It almost looked like it could have become an axe or like a shovel or something.
Or a shovel, yeah.
If we're going to see him in this dream, this same sequence a lot, and I think he's making a hammer.
Okay.
I think this is going to be something that's in his head for a long time, and I think he's making a hammer.
Okay. Yeah, definitely had the more scythe appearance at the moment, but you could be right where maybe it's like a transformation, like he's thinking of axe and it becomes hammer.
Yeah.
As he continues his own journey.
Because I think the only things that we ever saw him making in the dream were finally making the hammer, finally realizing what he was trying to make, but he was also making people. And I remember he even said to himself, "They're supposed to be cast, not made at the, the Smith, whatever." But so I think he's making it.
Here, let's bring this question up. Hi there. If I said that right. Welcome. Do you think that Natty's problems with alcohol were the consequences for her not using the one power? Because she understood immediately that one of the girls used it. Ooh. That's a good question.
That is a good question.
Wow.
Well, it's noted in the books, and not to always be the books, but it is noted that there's a concentration of girls that can channel in the one power, in the two rivers. That nobody has. The Aes Sedai haven't come really to test girls in the two rivers in forever. So when they find Egwene and Nynaeve, and then they go back, they start finding other girls as well. So it's very possible that that Natty had an innate ability.
Very, very possible, and also very possible that not only she was aware, but other people in the village were aware of it too. They were way more knowledgeable in the show, in the Two Rivers, than about the outside world than they were in the books.
And using alcohol to self-medicate than not using the one power. That's interesting.
Because she's going through a lot. You can see how Nynaeve is responding to the one power because of the wisdom before her, and how she's kind of like, that lady traveled all the way to the White Tower, and you guys were bitches to her, and so I don't even like you. I don't like the one power. And so you might have that permeated because she's the wisdom, where she's kind of like has a not a negative, but a sort of slightly negative view on the one power. And so Natty going through all the shit that she's going through in her family is probably like, oh great, and now I've got the one power.
Right. Oh, that's just what I need.
Tequila.
Yeah.
Do you think do you think Abel can channel?
Ooh, I don't know.
Huh.
I never thought about the men in the Two Rivers who might be
Yeah,
able to.
where's his story arc going with this? We know then later on in the books from the Two Rivers can channel.
Mm-hmm.
So are they gonna try to I wonder if they are gonna splice up Abel and Jondon Baron or
Yeah, like make him one of the Ashermen.
or one of the Ashman, something like that.
Yeah.
Jondon, although Jondon was not one of the Ashman, but I do still think that Abel and Jondon Baron may be mixed when Piran does have his army, especially since Natty's going to be going. Natty's dead.
Yeah,
I think that it will be. I think that Tam and Abel will join Piran's army.
Well, I mean, who knows? Yeah, maybe Abel can channel. I mean, we have a description in here of Malkir, which I never considered. It said that Malkir was filled with festivals and poetry and dancing.
Oh yeah.
I never considered that. I thought they were just all stone angles and plains, like all of them. That's.
What was the poem?
Oh, didn't Lan?
Foot, a hoof, a sword. Still it is mine. Still it is mine. Who was it? It was I forgot the person, the woman who he was quoting, but Agelmar quoted that, and Lan knew who it was.
Right.
And it was in Piran's POV, and he was like, poetry from Lan? The man had more layers than an onion. I believe the text was something like that.
Yeah.
That's a good point, though, because every time I've thought of Malkir, I think I've just thought of some city in the middle of the Blight that just eventually got run over. So I didn't really consider the court activities or what the king and queen were doing or the political activities that were going on in Malkir.
And there was a lot, remember?
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Jane
Certainly they would have...
Sharon family, who is it? Esam and his whole family and all the betrayal and everything.
Yeah, so he would have been versed in poetry and political stuff and, not only the ways of the warrior, but the ways of love. I mean, and I don't know if they touched on... No, they did touch on it when Moraine and Viren were talking at Adelaeus, and they were talking about the Carniera. And so they kind of did touch on the way that they, introduced them into love and sex and things.
Yeah.
I guess let's talk about Adelaeus and Varen. So Varen, so where is Adelaeus at? So she lost her memory, but can be trained to say certain things. I'm not sure what we were seeing there. What level of incapacity she's at. What do you guys think?
Used her as a Trojan horse, basically. But yeah, that was a little. I have to. I would like to rewatch that with the captions on. Because that's what I do usually the second time around, and I pick up some things that I might have missed. But I want to take it up, especially some of the interactions in the White Tower.
Yeah.
But that was also very different. How the reactions, the interactions with Elida and Swan were very different from the books, but very contentious. I like it.
Yeah, I think with Adelaeus, I'm trying to think that Naomi was the one who channeled the weave.
Yeah.
And she was saying at the end of the last episode that she can't really take a particular memory away. She's going to wipe out a lot of stuff. And so I think, as an attack, that's probably what she did. Is she just said, boom, weave, and then it wiped out a lot of stuff, but not everything. And so Adelaus can kind of, some things I think are murky, some things are gone completely. And I think that's what Varian is trying to determine, where she's like, here's some tea, or would you rather have some wine? And her face kind of like jumps up a little bit. So I think there's more in there that Varian is trying to pull out. And that's why they were able to use her to draw Elida into the 13th suppository.
Okay. But she is still very damaged.
Very damaged. I don't even know if she can. I don't know if she knows that she can channel. That's a curiosity that I have. Is she going to still be able to weave anything, or is that something they're just going to kind of brush away?
Yeah. Bye, Judith. Thanks for hopping in. It was nice seeing you.
Thank you.
Yeah, that is an interesting one. Yeah. I would assume, that would be dangerous if she is still like being able to throw fireballs around and stuff.
Yeah, because we don't know her mentality. It reminds me of the movie Logan, where it's the X-Men movie where Professor X, who's the most powerful telepath in the world, has sort of gone into dementia. And what happens when the most powerful telepath in the world loses his mind or control of his mind? And we see a couple of times where he just kind of and everybody in a mile radius or so is getting combusted mentally.
Patrick Stewart was reprising that role, by the way.
Yeah, he's amazing.
Oh my god!
And so I wonder if that's the thing that they're concerned about, is that maybe Adelaus will just be like, oh yeah, look what I can do.
Yeah, right. I want to talk about Elida. Elida does go to the 13th depository, and it looks like just straight out kills the Black Sister. Because she pled the fifth.
Yeah, basically she's like, I'm not going to tell you anything, and Elida's like, you're right.
Okay.
She's like, chop off your head. Is this a violation of the 3 oaths, as we understand them?
I don't think so, because she's a dark friend. She's a dark shadow person, shadow spawnish type person.
Elida's a force, man. Like,
yeah,
she doesn't take shit.
Yeah, she says this is not a negotiation. As she's holding up the woman, but then a gray man comes in. This gray man was who? Bear,
right?
or who is it? Or
wasn't that Jaichim? That's the one that.
Jaichim.
Yeah.
Jaichim. Was that him?
Yeah,
I think it was. Yes,
it was him. It was definitely him, and that was. I mean, that happened, I guess, in the book. I guess, but it was Slayer, right?
It was Slayer, and they were not in the tower. So I mean, little details, but it did happen. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
So just a slight diversion. Like I had considered that because of the way that they did the commercial, or not the commercial, the trailer, I guess, for that episode. You saw Joya kind of looking up, and I was like, uh-oh. I think someone's going to come in there. I did not expect it to be Elida, but I had thought that there might be a gray man or something like that.
But who sent that gray man? Was it, do we know? I mean, was that Mogideon?
I think it's Mogideon.
It was Mogideon. She's the only one that can make them.
Okay.
And
she said she had a task for him.
Yeah, she said, I have somebody for you to go to find.
Okay.
And we also got another piece of information from Elida, and that was that Gawain and Galad are missing.
Missing their sister, I think is what they said.
Oh, is that what they said? Missing?
Yeah.
I didn't get that. Okay. Yeah, so I guess that I don't know what they're gonna do with Galad and Gawain. We'll see if they continue to stay in the show. I'm sure they're needed, but we'll see what they do.
Right, they're kind of aimless right now, huh?
Yeah, The Grey Men certainly love to stab people, don't they?
Yeah, they're shankers.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, people get stabbed a lot in this.
Yeah, I was like, my
I'll
God,
wet you. I'll wet you.
stop
Impalement
stabbing Shore.
Right.
impalement is definitely the norm here.
Yeah.
I mean, Alana looked like a pincushion.
God. Yeah, she got.
And they were like all joking.
hmm
He's like,
And
oh, you
it's
turned
gonna
off your
have-
bond like fuck.
Are they going to make is Days Conger the new wisdom? We
I
don't know
don't
that.
know.
Mm.
We don't know that because they're changing names of some people. I mean, I still don't understand why there's no Amis for pretty much no reason.
I don't. Yeah, that's one of the things that I kind of have in these discussions that I have sometimes with book readers who are frustrated. Is it's like I do agree that I don't know why some of the characters have been removed or changed. I'm trying to find the payoff on that, and I don't know why Amis would have been removed at all. She's
The
so.
only thing I can think of is that we're going to see a combination of Amis and Cerelia later.
That's what I thought as well.
Mm.
Still missing Gaul. Sorry, but I am.
I miss Call too, but
Yeah. Are we gonna get brotherless?
I think we might.
Yeah, I don't. I'm
I think
curious
we'll
if
get a version.
a version, right? I'm
think
curious
we'll
if they're
get
going to go straight in and call it that, or if they're going to, again, kind of like do a little wraparound around it. But we'll get the gist of it, I think.
Because I mean, we also got the quick information of how the Shido have rejected Rand.
Mhm.
You know, they got that in. We know. I have to think now though that the season finale is going to be at the Golden Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that at least on that side of the world, and then in Tanchico, we'll have the museum scene
Mm.
with Nynaeve and Mogideon.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're gonna have. And I believe that's when she's going to get angry for the first time.
Yeah,
Mm.
I think we'll have a little showdown with Elaine and the Black Aja sisters as well.
Speaking of Tanchico, Tanchico is a rough place, guys.
Ooh.
There's a
Oh.
lot of cut purses there.
Did you notice? Did you notice who the guy who was hanging?
Mm-hmm.
Did you notice who that was?
No.
That was the first guy that died in the Two Rivers, Tom.
Oh, was it really?
I'm like 95% sure.
Oh my God, I'll have to go back and look at that.
What?
I did notice when they first got in, Min was like, I'm serious, you guys, this place is dangerous. And then some guy gets like launched off
Oh yeah.
the thing. I was just like, that's a cute little check on that.
See? Proof's in
See?
the pudding.
I told you.
The dreams we have. So Egwin takes Moraine. So apparently Egwin off screen has been beefing up
Mhm.
to where she can like now take people into Teleran Riyadh with her in the flesh, I guess, and take them to where like. So she takes her to Swan's dream. She's like, hey, listen, I did the pin trick. Once you hear that pin, you got to come back. You go have fun. I'm going to go wander around.
Look at other
And so we get a bunch of dreams. We get Swan is dreaming of the Love Hut that Maureen, and they kind of talk things through. They end up they're soul sisters forever and ever and ever through all cosmos, and they end up making out.
But they broke up, it looks like. They're basically, I think Swan went in for the kiss at first, and Moraine was like, this is
No,
kinda-
that's broken. We broke
Yeah.
that.
But then they were like
Oh,
in the
because-
circle of the wheel.
He's also saying goodbye. Moraine
Yeah.
is getting ready to die.
Yeah.
So let's get it on.
One more time.
And then Egwin poofs into the forest, and Nynaeve is at the Two Rivers over the bridge, teaching her daughter how to listen to the wind.
Mhm.
Very cool. Nynaeve
so
sees sees Egwin there, doesn't get mad. Then poof, on the Seafolk boat, and it's Avienda and Elaine are doing their best Titanic. Jack, don't let go. I'm the king of the world.
Wherever you are.
Yeah. Boom, to Matt's dream. Matt has his mom's all proud, and there's a parent-made sword. The sisters are all happy and alive. Parent's dream is he's a blacksmith in the Two Rivers. Hopper's jumping around at his feet, and he's married to Fael. And Rand's dream and him making out with Lanfear.
Uh-oh.
While she watches, and then she sees Lanfear. Lanfear kind of smiles, doesn't stop, keeps on making out.
Because she's evil.
And that's where it ends, guys.
Yeah. I like that Perrin, I guess you have to think about it a little bit, but Perrin is already dreaming of Fael. So there's something, being healed in his heart, being back in the Two Rivers, and having a resolution with, his wife being dead and stuff. So I thought that was a nice little touch that she was the one in the dream helping.
Yeah, and he just met her. Gross, right? Gross. What about his dead wife? Come on.
I think they've been together for about a month now, maybe 2 weeks.
It's plenty of time.
Yeah, it's fine. I guess. I dream. Yeah. So we do see the ghostly wisps of the real world in Teleran Riyadh. I don't know if that was really defined for people who aren't book readers, what those ghostly wisps were. We also saw clothing change. Egwin, she got scared, so she got armor. And then poof back into her thing, and they're like, hey, you're learning fast.
Yeah, I do like the way that they're trying really hard to educate the viewers on the rules of Teleran Riyadh, which are very, very much lots of rules. But we did get a snippet of you can visit someone's dream or you can be in Teleran Riyadh. And I think that was the distinction they were trying to make with Egwene going to visit. She's like, hey, Moraine, I think I can take you into Swan's dream. It's a little safer, I think is what she said, instead of just roaming through Teleran Riyadh because that's dangerous.
Yeah.
But I liked how it was done. I liked how the she kind of melted in and out, turned into those little pixels.
Yeah.
That's a cool effect. They also said they were talking about Lanfear being Rena in her dream. And they said pretty much, if you don't believe she's there, then she isn't there. Which is similar to how Teleran Riyadh worked, but just really nicely kind of packaged, I guess.
Yeah, I think that's how they were teaching her in the books how to escape a nightmare if you got caught in a nightmare. Is you have to believe that is not true and that it's not real, and then Teleran Riyadh will fix that for you.
Yeah, quote, if you want her out, just believe she is out. Let's see, and I guess what else did we have? We have
Alana and Maxim. I thought that was an interesting. I don't know how I feel about that. That was one of those things, Jansen, where it was a deviation from the book that I was kind of like, not sure. But I do like how they wrapped it around after she became a pincushion.
Right.
And I was like, okay, got it. Now and I think they're using that too to get Alana unhinged enough, because I really do think they're going to put that scene that we're all hoping is not in the books in the show anyway. So they're really preparing her mentally to be unstable enough to do something like that.
Yeah.
She tells him, you're not enough.
Ouch.
Right?
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, I'm going to go kill Leandrin. You stay here and fuck off all you want, but I'm going to go kill Leandrin. She's like, all right, hold on one sec. All right, your bond's gone. See ya. I called you an Uber. He'll be here in a minute. You should probably go wait out the street.
And she's like, no, wait, I'm being stuck by arrows. Please come back.
We also have that Matt's hanging vision is still is a constant thing. In fact, Min is trying to stop it, so she is drawing the vision, trying to recreate it, so she can find a way to find some details about her vision, I guess. But this has got to be a bummer. He laughs it off. He's like, "Oh, it's a good thing your visions suck." But he has been seen to kill Rand, and he has been seen to be hanging. We know the hanging part was from the book somewhat, right? After the fins. I don't know if that's exactly how we're going to get it, but what do you get? How is he going to try to kill Rand, do you think?
I thought he already did. I thought that I thought that was when he threw
He already did.
At the end of season 2. He threw the spear through Ishamael, and that's how Rand got his wound.
Okay. Well, that's okay. Well,
That's right.
duh. I guess I should have remembered that.
Well, but it also touches on Min kind of interpreting her own visions, where she could have said, "You're going to stab Rand," which would have been a little bit more accurate, I think, to even what we were seeing while she was having the vision. But she said, "You're going to kill Rand." So I wonder if they're trying to touch on, her visions do always come true, but it's the way that they're interpreted.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Matt says that they can trust Min, and she sure liked hearing that. She was like, "Oh gosh, gee whiz," because I am a dark friend. I did sign the contract. I did the oaths, but whatever.
Well, now it's going to give Elaine and Min some time to get close.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. That's a good point. Yeah. Anything else about this episode, guys?
I was curious if in the dream that Egwene visited, Elaine is doing the wind weaving. And I wondered if that was something that she was just kind of like dreaming about, or if she actually spent time learning the weaves. I was unclear on that, because she didn't really spend any time with the wind finder that we know of. But as we saw in the episode, they are skipping, time a little bit. So she may have just learned that off screen.
Yeah, I think we're going to see her doing some of that choreography at some point, which will be pretty awesome, actually.
Yeah.
It's going to be very awesome for some of us who thinks our little princess is the bee's knees.
Kevin will be happy.
Well, guys, thank you for joining us. We will be talking about the rest of these episodes this season. Like and subscribe if you haven't to our channel. We really appreciate it. And I guess until next time, run for your lives, because this is The Way of the Leaf.